That's it.
Welcome to the Small Business Show. Today I've got a really exciting guest. We've actually got Mark Ferguson, who during this downturn has decided to team up with one of his very good colleagues and mates, and is helping small business owners with their web presence. How are you going, Mark?
Mate, I'm going very well, thank you. It's interesting times at the moment, so we're adapting. We're all adapting, and just looking forward to maybe sharing some of the things that we're doing that might be able to help the guys out there.
Absolutely. Look, I as I said before, I always feel a little bit underdressed when maybe I was just thinking it when I'm around you, because you are always so impeccably dressed. We'll talk about that another day, and in fact, I've got another show that I'll invite you onto in the coming weeks about that. Now, Perfect. Today we're here to talk about people making a big impact with their web presence. Okay, and obviously Ionix, is that the right pronunciation?
Ionix.
I was so close.
You were. It's difficult.
I did want to register in English with a second language course, but they wouldn't let me. So Ionix, really close. So you've teamed up with these guys, and they do some pretty amazing stuff for clients, yeah?
Well, that's right. So it's a digital and marketing agency. So we've been building that. We've got a creative director who's been doing it for over 10 years. Really life for colour. In another life, I designed menswear, but and I was in the beginning. I was starting to talk to her about colour and sort of look to advise her. But she is just amazing, and she's a real credit to our team, and it's part of the reason why I'm working with these guys is because they're so good at that creating that digital flair and that unique piece, because that's one of the ways that we need to stand out. When we've got small businesses, we need to create obviously a great business and great service, but you got to create a great brand as well, and it's so important to differentiate yourself.
Absolutely. And when you start talking about things on the web, everything is moving so fast. Your choices are so broad and so many, and to try and stop the scroll is almost impossible. Okay. Well, and that's where these things really come into play.
And it's really about trying to simplify your message. So, you got to think of your website and your web presence as just another business card. And to simplify that message, so it's not distracting. It's inviting, and it's creating enough interest without being too flary and too much noise. And you really want to cut through with your message, whether that be we're a great service, we're very professional, we provide unique solutions, or we just provide a standard fastener for a particular job. So you really got to. We want people to really understand the message that they're going to send first, and that's part of our job, is to really get that out of them and go, okay, what message do you want to send, with your digital presence?
So we'll come up with your 5 steps or whatever the strategy is. We had a few technical issues, and so Mark and I haven't had time to really plan this show very, very well at all. And so, Mark, I'm going to walk you through the thing. So with Ionix, how long have they been around?
They've been around for the last 5 years. They're traditionally an IT platform builder. So they work with companies like Shell and Anglo American, and they come from a custom software background. And myself and the director there, who I've known for probably the last 10 years, got together over the last few months and started building a team of great graphic designers and communication managers to really build this communication and digital agency. So
because that's a really critical thing. You can have awesome looking design, but if your message isn't backing it up, you're just not going to get, you might get noticed, but you'll be thrown in the dump heap and nobody will ever remember you, apart from being that good looking company, a little bit like Anna Kournikova. Alternatively, you could have the most awesome message out there, but if you don't have great design, then you're not going to get past the scroll, right? People aren't going to stop long enough to listen to the message.
they really go hand in hand, and it's about consistency. So when you're looking at your brand in a digital space, how is it consistent throughout the whole space? So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all your socials, but then your web presence, your email signature, your automated emails that you send out to people.
Absolutely. And I do want to apologise to all the Anna Kournikova fans. Look, but consistency was what she struggled with. Okay. Played well in a few tournaments, but never really quite managed to win. It was actually that consistency that she didn't have. So if you want to be number one, you've actually got to be consistent. There's the lesson.
That's it. Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Without consistency of service and product, then you're really going to have a short-term business, just maybe like
that's it. You could absolutely deliver wonderfully with what you do, but if you can't get that message out there consistently and in a way that gets people listening, then you're not going to get enough clients for your business to survive.
That's exactly it. And it's about momentum a lot of the time. So when you get, there's peaks and troughs in any business. And, right now, let's say it's one of those troughs times. So how do you get or keep some momentum, firstly, but then how do you build up that momentum so when it does come back into some sort of full swing, then you're actually ready. And now is obviously a great time, and I'm sure you've spoken about being prepared for that next phase, and the digital assets are really important.
It's funny, you might be surprised, but I've been talking about being ready for that phase since basically everything was shut down, right? I said, as soon as people were going to be underutilized, said, look, use the time wisely, start building, change. If you were starting your business today, what would you do differently? And then start building that now while you got some time. So that's been a very clear message. Your guys at Ionics have some awesome packages that people can work with in relation to the adaptation grant. Look, the adaptation grant is going faster than hotcakes at a garage sale. You do need to get to take some action fairly quickly. Yep. The one thing I want you to do is to think about, for your business, what is the impact that you're needing to make, right? So then start looking for what can I do, but you need to move fast if you're going to make think of that. So that we can keep this being more an evergreen and throughout time process, Mark, what is the process that the guys at Ionics go through to help drag out both the ideal message, and how do they then go about creating the right creative for that?
Well, firstly, we sit down and find out who you are, and I like to go into the personal level. So not too personal, of course, but find out who the business owner is and what that personality is, and how that then reflects into the business. So, we look at obviously everything branding wise, from logo, colors, font, how the business is currently set up, where are the gaps. So we ask a lot of questions about what's your database that you got, how are you actually currently communicating with people, what is the reaction from that, and what is the feedback and the buy-in from that. So we ask a lot of questions about the current business, and then we ask the question about, okay, where do you want to take the business? What are the goals in the next 3, 6, 12, 24 months? And then from there, we're able to design a plan, a digital strategy, and communication strategy around delivering that service. And so
So it's really about creating that holistic communication strategy, which is building momentum in the brand, rather than, hey, let's get something out that looks quick, that's great and is opportunistic in the current market and that sort of stuff. But it's about building that constant momentum of the brand to, basically go to the next lock in the canal. So that you can make business up to that next level.
Yeah, we always look long term, really. So yes, we want short term results, but okay, what's the end game? So we want to know, okay, what do we want in 3 months? Okay, this is what we need to do to achieve this. What do we want in 6 months? This is the strategies we need to deploy to achieve that, and then so forth. So, a lot of the time it's really just about getting people organized. We're a bit of the devil's advocate and say, hey, you need to do this, this, and this if you want to achieve this. And it's really quite simple a lot of the time, whether it's around database management, how you automate your emails, all those sorts of things, and your social media. Really small things can help small businesses take that next step without too much effort.
Absolutely, and that's a critical thing. I'm just seeing where the site is up to. They're still at the 60% in relation to the applications, which isn't insignificant at all.
Well, I actually think by Monday, I wouldn't be surprised if it's all gone. So Monday, Tuesday.
I want to give people some good news and some bad news in relation to this.
Yeah.
What would you like first?
I'm a good news person.
You're good news first? Look, the good news is...
Then give me the cherry on top.
Absolutely. The good news is that some of the people who are applying are going to put in applications that are non-compliant.
Yep.
It's just a fact of life. When people are rushing, they're going to miss steps, they're going to miss some stuff, and they're going to put in applications that unfortunately don't make the grade. They're not going to be asked, oh, could you go back and clarify that? Or even if they are, that's going to go to the back of the queue and then they will start assessing again. So even when they hit 100% of the applications funding requests, that doesn't mean that it's closed at that point, because they're not all going to be valid.
Yeah,
some people who shouldn't be on the list will be asking, can I have some money? As well, some of the projects on the list aren't going to be valid for funding. Okay, it is the adaptation grant. You need to be showing that you're changing business practices, very much so, particularly if you're not in one of the key industries. Those key industries are tourism, hospitality, fitness, and retail. Okay, so tourism, hospitality, fitness, retail. I think there was one other, I forget right now, but that's near enough. I think they'll be more lenient with those industries because they've been told absolutely shut down.
Yep.
Other industries that have been affected, not as severely, I believe that they will be looking more for a greater level of adaptation and a larger change in business practices to ensure that if another downturn occurred, that you will be more resilient next time.
Yeah, 100%. And, when it comes to, and that's part of the reason why I got in touch with you earlier today, was really just to sort of, because I've gone through the process myself with a different sort of business, and it's a little bit tricky, and trying to get the right quote and all the details on the quote correct can take some time. So it's important people do jump on this sooner rather than later, because I feel like you do have a better chance of getting the grant.
Absolutely.
And when it comes to the reason why we've put 3 packages together, 2 e-commerce build packages, and then also one marketing and communication strategy and implementation package. And these packages are really just to give people a really good understanding of what they're going to get for the money. And then we can, once the grant application has been put in, then we'll sit down and go, okay, well, how are we going to make the most of what we've got? And really work out what the best strategy is for them from there.
Absolutely. And somebody just said, what, so it's not first come, first dressed scenario? It is, but there are going to be some qualifications thrown in there. So I believe that there is a, in relation to the assessment, you basically have to be putting in for a project that the government deems to be valid.
That's exactly right. And online stores is probably a major one for people to think about. How do you get an e-commerce store out of this? And if you can get that 8-10 grand to really start that process, if you're already in the middle of that process or you're thinking about that, then this is Like, it's the best time to really attack it.
Yeah, and then somebody's asked, can you apply for more than one project? No, the government isn't letting you guess. Oh, I'll put this one in. If that fails, I'll put this one in. They're not letting you play those games. They're going, hey, what do you really need to do right now to make your business more adaptable? Mark, I love the fact that you guys are, helping people with their, as you said, the e-commerce stores and everything else. It's not just a simple website that you're looking for. It is looking for how they can change business and take it online to help them be more resilient for the future. I love the process that you're not just looking at short-term immediacy, that you're going, how can we build momentum in your online business so that we can help you be more resilient, so that we can help you overcome the adversity, whether it's today's adversity or whether it's one that will pop up, maybe next year, maybe in 5 years' time, whatever it is. That's absolutely fantastic. The process that you care as much about the business owner and you're finding out a lot about them and what unique points of difference they have is fantastic, because that's going to then help you with different branding gaps to show the uniqueness of this particular organization and business over their competitors, because the business owner is one thing that no other brand can copy. So, for good and bad. So, as I know, it's a small business. So, for good and bad. So, absolutely. It is looking at their current communications, what's working, what's not, and how you can take them to that next level. I think the offer that you got is fantastic. I'm sure you guys are really digitally smart and already have a link where people can go and inquire, put in some stuff, book some time with you, or fill out an application form. I'm going to encourage you to put that below in the link. Now, we're in 3 different places, and I'll talk to you about that as soon as we hang up. But I think it's absolutely fantastic. If you are looking for how you can use the money, you're looking to improve your online presence, maybe create an e-commerce store, definitely have a chat with Mark and the guys at Ionics, and I'll catch you all later. Thanks very much for giving us the time, Mark, and on such short notice too.
No, thank you, mate. Pleasure.
Thanks a lot. Bye now.
Bye-bye.